Imagine winning 23 Olympic gold medals, the most in human history.
Imagine standing on that podium. Your country's national anthem is playing, the entire world is cheering on your name, and still somehow not wanting to be alive.
That's Michael Phelps' real story, and it's the one that nobody tells you.
Because everybody talks about the 8 Olympic gold medals won in Beijing. They talk about the 50-mile training weeks and the 12,000 calorie diet. But nobody talks about what happens after the light went out.
Nobody talks about that kid that teacher said would never focus. Nobody talks about the man who locked himself in a room for days wondering if it was all worth it.
Today we are talking about all of it, so stay with me.
Baltimore, Maryland, 1994. A 9-year-old boy can't sit still in his class. His teachers are frustrated, his parents are worried.
The diagnosis comes back ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. And here's the thing about ADHD. In the 90s, it didn't mean that this kid needed the right environment to thrive.
It meant this kid is a problem. One teacher flat out told his mother he'd never be able to focus on anything.
His mother, Debbie, didn't accept that. She put him in the pool. But here's the catch, the pool almost didn't work out.
See, Michael Phelps was afraid of water when he started.
His first coach had him learn the backstroke just so his face could stay dry. The swimmer legend, afraid of water?
But something happened in that pool. That repetitive laps, the structure, the clear goals. It was like the pool was designed for his ADHD brain.
By age 10, he held a national record in his own age group. By age 11, he met a man named Bob Bowman.
Bob Bowman was not a warm, fuzzy coach. He was a taskmaster.
Demanding discipline and zero tolerance for nonsense. Michael himself said, Bob and I were not a good match. I was the goofball and he was the taskmaster. They clashed consistently, but Bob Bowman saw something.
He told Flip parents, your son has a realistic opportunity that other kids don't have. That was the spark.
From that on point, Michael trained 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. Not occasionally, not when he felt like it.
Every single day, he swam on Christmas, he swam on his birthday.
He was building something, not just an athletic career, but a fortress against the chaos in his own head. At age 15, he qualified for the Sydney 2000 Olympics, becoming the youngest male swimmer in 68 years of Olympic UST.
He did not medal, but the world had no idea what was coming. 4 years later, they found out.
Athens 2004. Michael Phelps wins 6 gold medals and 2 bronze. The world goes wild. He is on cereal boxes, magazine covers. A genuine American hero at just 19 years old.
And then he goes home and something breaks.
He described it as standing on the edge of a cliff. The 4-year goal, the thing that got him out of the bed every morning, was gone.
And there was nothing to replace it. He sat in his room for days, barely sleeping, barely eating, not living post Olympic depression, the condition most people don't even know exist.
But instead of getting help, he did what so many athletes do. He buried it. He went back to training. He went back to chasing the next goal.
Beijing 2008. What Michael Phelps did that August is still considering one of the greatest athletic achievements in human history.
8 gold medals, 8 world records broken. He broke Mark Spitz's legendary 1972 record of 7 gold medals in a single game. In one race, the 100-meter butterfly, he won by 100th of a second, 100th.
The planet stopped to watch him. He was, by every measure, superhuman.
But here what the camera didn't show you. Behind that golden image was a man who had been training to see himself as a machine. Not as a human being, but a swimming machine.
He later said, I saw myself strictly as an Olympic athlete or a swimmer, somebody wearing a pair of goggles and a swim cap, not somebody has a feeling and emotion.
But when the machine kept winning, the feeling got louder. The DUI in 2004 and another in 2014. The 2012 Olympics, where even as he completed, he was previously contemplating suicide.
Let's that sit for a second. The most decorative Olympian in the history, on the podium and thinking about whether to end his life.
But something changed. Something small, something enormous.
And after second DUI arrest in 2014, Michael Phelps checked himself into a treatment facility.
He spent 45 days there, and for the first time in his life, he stopped performing. He started talking. He started failing. A friend handed him a copy of The Purpose Driven Life, and he read it cover to cover.
He came out of that facility and said something that might be most important thing he ever said, more important than any world records.
I'm extremely thankful that it did not take my life.
Michael Phelps came back for one more Olympic, Rio 2016.
5 golds and a silver. He retired for good at age 31, the most decorated Olympian in the history of the game. 28 medals, 23 of them were gold. And then he started his real work.
He produced a documentary called The Weight of Gold, exposing the mental health crisis hidden inside Olympic sports.
He partnered with mental health platforms. He stood in front of Congress to advocate for mental health funding. He walked into school and told teenagers that it's okay to be not okay.
The man who was once told he could never focus became one of the most focused mental health voice on the planet.
And he doesn't do it because it's a good PR move. He does it because, as he says himself, I know what it feels like to not wanting to be alive. And I also know there is light at the end of the tunnel. Here's what I want you to take from this. Michael Phillips wasn't great despite his ADHD. He wasn't successful despite his depression in a strange, difficult way. Those things were part of the fuel. The hyper focus that came with his ADHD poured into the pool.
The emotional intensity that came with depression transformed slowly, painfully into empathy for millions.
Your struggles are not your disqualifications. They are data. They're information about you, how you're wired and what you need.
The boy who could not sit still became the greatest winner alive.
The man who sat alone in the dark room became a light for others, and the athlete, who once only saw himself as a machine, learned finally to be a human being.
As of 2026, Michael Phillips is 40-year old. He still show up, he still talks.
He still believes, as he said, that the second chapter of my life outside of the pool is going to be bigger than anything I've done in the pool. And I believe him.
If this story hit you, share it with some who need to right now.
Genuinely, not for the algorithm, because someone in your life is sitting in the dark room and they need to know that the greatest athlete in history sat there too and chose to get up.
Drop a comment below what part of Philip's story hit you the hardest, and I read every single one.
Thank you for watching. This is Tushar,
This is Neeraj.
and this has been Oxford Youth Radio.